Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're after a minor YouTube meltdown there, a few technical issues. So thanks for being patient. We did miss a couple of the laps there, J-Man.
Yeah, I'll bring you back up to speed if you like, and I can tell you now.
Please do.
Since we've left off, Maverick has managed to get past Nathan Henderson in the 31 Aston Martin, trying to do something about what is the 2.5 to 2.8 second gap to Webley. The other big one as well is that we have got Crossy move up to P4. So he just very recently, just got Pete Dawson. Now, the other big one, we didn't catch it. Obviously, we didn't catch it live and we didn't catch it off screen, but Nick Firth and Matty Dayton gone a long way back. Firthy back in 19th, Dayton back in 23rd. Now, that's big for Firth. It's going to be a big dig tonight. Currently sitting fourth in the championship, needs a lot more than that.
Yes.
But also, I saw a great drive coming from Matthew Clark. He put a move on out of turn 1 down to Eau Rouge, and I tell you what, Shane Fodderdo didn't want any part of it and just let him go. But since then, Matthew Clark's actually pressed on and he's starting to hunt down Pete Dawson. We only missed effectively, I want to say maybe 7 minutes of this race, maybe 8 if I'm being greedy. But we do appreciate you guys tuning back in. I can see that multiple of you have tuned back in, so we do appreciate it. We dearly hope that the internet gods and YouTube just call that the only one that we have tonight, and we can press on and watch some great racing, because I tell you what, it certainly has been pretty good up to this point. Costas Makrolos, he's still on the back of Tony Spencer, P11 at the moment, Mitchie Haas, and...
right in front there, so that's a good little three-way battle there. A couple of McLarens and the Ferrari of Makrolos, who is no slouch in that car. J-Man just tucked him behind. Dawson starting to put pressure. Now, when we just disappeared into the ether there earlier, Dawson was putting pressure on...
Well, look at us through Rouge.
It was actually Crossland getting past Dawson. Yeah. So... that was one of the little moments that we missed. But Dawson here, watch the legs again of this Bentley. I think he might have just backed out of that there a little bit, J-Man.
Yeah, track cuts will be a factor through a Rouge as well, mate. So, 2-hour race, you only get basically 3 or 4, and then you're coming through a drive-through. So,
yeah.
It's a long way to go.
That's right.
Yeah. You don't want to have to go and pay the man too early here. And pit lane's a long pit lane here at Spa.
It is incredibly long. And look, when you're trundling down it, it feels like it's as long as the track. Thank you, Louis, for tuning back in, my friend. We are back and better than ever. Fingers crossed for the rest of the stream here. But Dawson on Crossland, J-Man continues.
Yeah, so does Jordan Moss, and Ashton Hughes has been going on. So that position just swapped just about 2 to 3 turns ago. That they got Gunther Road just up the road of them. But as you mentioned, Dawson Crossland, and there is that car, that BMW, the number 2 car of Matthew Clark, and it's coming. Yep. And I'll tell you what, don't count out that BMW to make it as far as a podium here tonight, given the performance that we've seen him in the first 7 laps of this race.
Absolutely, J-Man, absolutely. And we will go back to that Haas Spence Makrolos battle as well.
Cheers, Mr. McConnell, for the update there. So Dayton lost it up Radalon, and Firth pulled over. Don't know why. Okay, maybe.
May have been a little bit of contact there.
But nonetheless, Maverick really had to work over Hendo to get through. Since then, pulled away. That margin's still sitting around that, anywhere from 2.2 to 2.8 seconds. Currently static at about 2.5. So he's working on it. Lap times for those two, Webley with a 2.19.1, Maverick with a 2.19.3 last lap around. So very, very comparable.
So Turbot on Goddard now with Kim actually just sneaking into that battle as well. I think that's Ben Collins, the newcomer.
Yeah, Ben Collins, the newcomer in the Aston. Yep.
Just tucking in there as well. So lovely.
There'd be a question for the developers, Hamish. It's a great question. Couldn't tell you, mate. Not sure. One of the car
good
sounds
little
off.
side by side down into a Rouge from Spence. Haas there, Haas just saying, I don't want to borrow that. You can have that, which has now made him vulnerable to not, Gunther Rowe out of nowhere up the inside.
Look out for the 580 Mustang. Look out for the pony power.
Wow. And just goes,
he's struggling to pull it up on the brakes.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, uses plenty of the inside curb there just to try and address the speed on the Mustang. But yeah, just saw that all unfold in front of him and thought, okay, this is my chance. Makalos on the outside. If he can make it live out there, J-Man, looks like he's going to. He's going to have the rights to the inside here. Has he got the overlap? Only just.
It's still going on. It is still going on. It'll go on right the way down through here to the double launch. Oh, and he gets the better line on the way in. Someone kicked up a little bit of dust in front. I think it was the 580 car Gunther Rowe.
Yep.
But that's not over for Mitchie Haas and Kostas Makalos. And look who's sitting in there. There's a 777 McLaren of Jordan Moss. So he only just got past Shuzy just a lap ago, and he's looking to try and tag on the back of Haas.
So, look, the mover and shaker there has got to be Gunther Rowe again,
Dawson crossed them too, mate.
Oh, side by side, up the hill.
Yeah, through Blanchimont. Oh, Crossy, all sorts of sideways through Blanchimont.
We just picked that up.
Good car control. So maybe done something to the rear end. And look at that, Matthew Clark having to take evasive action down under brakes into turn 18-19, the bus stop chicane. Wow. And look at what it cost Clark on the way out of there with that, missing that apex at 18. The Bentley and the Honda both pulled away. So once again, this will be about timing here for Pete Dawson. If he can be the right distance behind the Honda as they come up through Adelon.
And I mean, it's just that clean entry and exit out of a Rouge there, J-Man. Yep.
Much better distance. Watch for this Bentley to try and charge up behind the Honda here. Get underneath the wing of the Honda and try and bridge that gap. But Crossy got a good run through a Rouge that time. He did get a good run.
But look at the power. Look at the power of this as we look over the rear wing of the SIMBLACKS Honda. J-Man left the run too long. Crossy lives to fight another sector or two at least, J-Man. But we've seen these two. Crossy again, a little sideways from the Honda on the exit there.
Oh, and it's heated up now. There's a five-way between Spence, Rowe, Makalos, Haas, Moss. Moss just slightly off the back as Haas, but I tell you what, Spence, Rowe, and Makalos, that is a battle going on right now.
Yeah, so he's really ranged quickly to the back of Spence there, J-Man, and like you mentioned, Moss just off the back of that, but coming quickly into the fray there with that group of cars there. That is a very healthy mid-pack there at the moment. And Dawson and Crossland again, still going at it.
Yeah, also Danny Kim, Mark Turbot, Ben Collins, that's still going on as well. So welcome to Rainlight Racing, Mr. Collins. He's in the thick of it there. P18 at the moment. Scott recovering. Nick Firth in 19th, just probably getting close to ranging up on the back of this pack, and that'll serve him well. Looking at
and this time it was Dawson, very sideways, drift style. We'll get a replay of that. At the same corner, Crossland was sideways the lap before. So we just pick it up on the replay here. Wow. Which is, he really had to get out of that, which has put, that's Matty Clark.
Super sideways.
Super sideways there from the bend.
Yeah, now look, Clark, this is the same position that he sized up Shane Fodderdo earlier in the race to get past him. He didn't quite look for the over-under on the Bentley of Pete Dawson, but I tell you what, it's a move that he's already pulled, and if he can get himself into position into effectively turn one, which is La Source, he will have a look for a run down the inside into a Rouge on the Bentley, but the Bentley pretty handy in a straight line as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a bit of a drift session, an expression session out there.
Yeah, mate, it's next level. up the hill. That final left-hander there, full commitment from the boys.
Yeah, I like the look at Clark here to challenge, put a challenge on Pete Dawson here. I think he's just building into this race nicely.
I think so, J-Man.
Mitchy Haas, Macrolos.
Yep.
Was that a positional change? No,
No.
they're still stationary in there.
Yep. But in very close contact as well. And now just that 777 car of Jordan Moss now well tagged onto the back of that. But Matty Clark really showing his skills here. Newcomer to Rainlight Racing, and really showing what he's made of immediately here.
Oh, he has to back out of it. Firthy was looking at a move up the inside of Ben Collins, and he just had to grab the brake in the middle of the double gorge there. Oh, and he gets it done. He gets it done to the second phase of that corner there. Manages to round up Ben Collins. Set his eyes forward now on Daddy Kip. And then also Mark Turbot as well. So good patience, good presence to back out of it in the first phase, because he would have nearly had contact with the left quarter of Ben Collins's car, and then just switched the mindset and then went down the inside on the next corner. Big under brakes was Nick Firth, so well done. Okay, so status quo up the top. Looks like Crossy's actually made a little bit of margin over Dawson. Dawson got a little bit of pressure now from Matthew Clark.
Yes, I think Dawson's got other things to think about than the back of that SIMBLACKS Honda at the moment. And yeah, he's really focused on what looks to be like a Falcon Tyres BMW there of Matty Clark. So...
Oh, and I'll tell you what, who was that? I just saw Tony Spence with a big cut through a Rouge. We appreciate you, Uncle Joe, mate. Look, I tell you what, if we run into each other, I'll take you up on the offer, because I don't mind a beer, as does Davo. Look, he was very, very wide. That was a definite track cut for sure. We mentioned, you know, you only get 3 freebies, and the fourth one to trip through a very, very long pit lane.
Well, true, J-Man. As we have eyes on Spence, the leader of that very hectic little mid-pack going on there at the moment, J-Man. Fodado just out of that little group of cars and probably sitting in a little bit of clean air, and he would be happy to be there. Very long race. He's still got Will Dixon just quietly tucked in behind in the CrossCut Woodworks Carpentry and Joinery car.
Looks to the inside. Costas looks to the outside. It's getting really
busy.
Spicy.
It's definitely getting busy here. So Gunther got plenty to think. Costas obviously just getting it to that phase of the tyres where the Ferrari is starting to show some pace, not overly quick in the early stage of the race here tonight at Spa for round 8. But presses on, like we mentioned, Dixon. Dixon actually getting right up behind Fodado now in the Aston. So nice work from Dixon.
Yeah, and look, Delta-wise, mate, I can tell you and the viewers, it was the first time that I've seen the Delta go below 2 seconds from Webley to Maverick. However, now that they're back on the Kimmel Straight, it has stretched out to 2.4, 2.5 seconds again. But it was the first time that I've seen the Delta as they came into La Source go back down to about 1.9 seconds. So just bear that in mind, that Maverick's just chipping away. You know, and both these drivers will be watching their micro sectors to see where the strengths and weaknesses are, and they'll play to that. You know, Webley will play to, look, the Mustang's clearly got an advantage over the Honda here. I'm going to make sure I capitalise, hit all my apexes here, do all the little things right, and then equally so Maverick as well. Such a smart operator also. He'll be looking to make every gain, because he's not going to do it in terminal speed, because I can tell you the difference there Mavericks top speed 265. Webley's surprisingly only 269, given that the fastest terminal speed of this race is held by the Mustang of Gunther Rowe at 277 k an hour.
Wow. That thing is quick in a straight line, isn't it?
It is. We will see. It'll be a fair bit, I would think, before we get any pit movement. The weather stabilised too. We were under cloud cover at the start of this race with something like, I believe you called 19 ambient and 22 track. We're currently sitting at 21 ambient and 28 degrees track and a fast track now. Not optimum. It started green. It is fast. This track is coming to them. However, a little bit of cloud around, but the sun is poking through. Well, once again, Dixon, Fodolo, that battle. And then I can also see you got eyes on Macrolos having a good charge here, looking at Gunther Rowe.
It's still that group is angry. And what I do take from that is actually Jordan Moss dropped back from that pack a little bit. So maybe a bit of a slip from Geordie there. And he's lost a considerable amount of time from that group of cars. He was nearly tagged onto the back of that group, and now we could just see him in the back shot every now and then. There he is there.
Yep.
So, yeah, very angry little pack here and very tightly bunched, J-Man. And when we see these guys get this close, there's only a car length or two between them, nose to tail. This is where the mistakes happen. The slightest little error can cause some pretty big moments. So, Gunther looks like he has got that Mustang wound up. He would love to be just concentrating on the car of Spence in front of him, but he has always got Macrolos ducking in and out of his mirrors behind Haas now on Macrolos. He's got the inside. He's got the overlap
down the straight here. So this is McLaren on Ferrari. Gets out of it. And super sideways through there too as well.
Wow. Oh, yes, definitely. Who's that? Drive through for
Costas Macrolos.
222 car. I didn't see that come up earlier. That's just a reminder showing us there. So there you go.
Potentially just too much out of a Rouge, as he's the first of our drivers to take the long and lonely drive down pit lane. He won't be the last though, I'm sure. Also, just watching that margin once again, still with Dixon and Fodolo, that is so tight. Dixon looking super racy, and also Matthew Clark kind of stabilised now, just tucked in behind Crossy. Got there at a rate of knots, but I did pick up just recently P3 to P8 was around about 4.5 to 5 seconds. So the distance from making a podium at this point of the race from P3 to P8 only around 5 seconds. So still a lot to play for. We know how critical pit stops can be here. The little 1% is right.
Oh, definitely, J-Man. I mean, look, we've mentioned it a couple of times how long this pit straight is, this pit lane is, and look, if you're going to have to tunnel down pit lane, you want to make it work. You want to hit your marks and get it right.
Through for the drive-through.
Okay.
Oh, he will be dark on himself with this one, because it really does put him a long way back. You can already see Nick Firth in 16th already come through.
Yeah.
This will take him a long way down the pack, if not to the very back, because there goes Matty Dayton. Where's Kenneth Worcester? He's coming down through Blanchard onto the final turn. So is Ben Goebel as well. So, oh man, this is going to see Macrolos probably go right to the very back. And then he's still got to make an official pit stop down through here as well. So that's a tough gig. Top end of town, we still got Webley with around about 2.6, 2.7 seconds over Maverick. So that is a super competitive arm wrestle between the Mustang and the Honda at the moment. We saw they were super close in qualifying, and look, it's no different in the race. However, Webley managed to grab that track position. Hendo slotted in front of the 3 car for a little bit as well, which would have been
yes,
music to the ears and eyes of Webley to see that happen, and Hendo just hold up Maverick for a little bit and gave him a little bit of a chance to make some margin. Dawson's managed to skip away a little bit from Crosser. We saw how competitive that battle was a little bit for
a little while, actually.
Yeah, now Matthew Clark really got the pressure on, and we don't need to look at the deltas to see how close Dixon and Fodolo is. This is a mischief waiting to happen. So hopefully it's all fair and love and war. But Dixon really eyeing up the back of the Fodolo car.
Definitely, J-Man. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we are only just a little over a quarter of the way through this race with 1 hour and 25 minutes on to go. So very, very, very early stages here in this 2 hour tonight for Rainlight Racing's 2024 GT3 Series 6. It is round 8. We are at Spa. Hit the like and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for hanging in with us through some technical issues there earlier. J-Man, so much racing yet to go. A fairly hefty time-scaled race tonight too. So we will see this race end
in 5 minutes, mate. Rain in 5.
Well, get out of here.
Yeah. To answer your question, Uncle Joe, I'm not sure. Probably only Maddie could answer that question. We do miss her out on track. She has got a great turn of speed, great sim racer, heaps of respect, does Maddie have. So, yeah, we miss her out here. So hopefully she's at least tuning in, mate. Brake fail. What's this dirt? Brake fail blew right out of my rig. Oh my gosh, that is not good.
So that's Phil Davidson.
It's Philly boy. So
Phil,
that's a shame. And here, I expect to see some raindrops shortly from my deltas are telling me.
Well, so this is going to sort them out, isn't it, J-Man?
Yep.
You know, you thought Rouge was a tough, serious, complex of corners in the dry. Wait till you see these guys run here, through here, in the rain. Look, we do quite often see rain at Spa. It's not an unusual thing, given the place in the world it is. So, where it's situated, who was that? That is Matty Clark, actually now on Crossland, and really starting to blow applying the blowtorch to the back of the SIMBLACKS. Number 43, Steve Crossland Honda.
Oh, look, Webley, depending on where the rain comes, because we've seen it at Spa where it's turned up somewhere else in the track, but these guys are just crossing the line. What's the margin? Obviously, you saw it out at 3 seconds, but it closed back up as they came into La Source turn 1, currently sitting at 2.6. Who's going to see the rain first? They're not seeing it yet coming down through Rouge and Radillon, but if we go a bit further back, no wipers further back in the field. I think we would expect it to see at some point before the end of this lap. And it does look like it is scheduled to get pretty heavy too. So what are we potentially around about 22, 23 minutes away from what would be a halfway point making a stop? Webley very, very wide.
I saw that.
And here is the rain.
There it is.
Here is the rain. It is coming, and it is coming down fast.
Yeah, so it's an immediate downpour from these guys on slick tyres, and they will be scrambling.
You got to go. You've got to go to the pits. That amount of rain that quick, I'm sure you'd have to go.
Not looking to clear anytime soon, J-Man. So, I mean, they can be confident to put a set of wet tyres on, can't they, and not get caught out, so to speak.
Yep. Well, someone's got to stay out and think that they've got enough temperature and pressure in their tyres. And
who will that be? Who you got money on?
Look, I don't know. I can already see Hendo's down 1.5 seconds. So is Mav. Webley's down 1 second, and he's just about 1.5 seconds as well. So we've already bled off 1.5 seconds, and it only started raining quarter way through the lap.
Oh, look, 10 seconds ago.
Yeah. Firth will stay out. Oh, that's a big call. He's already just about 3 seconds, just about lost it. Dayton's got the lights flashing. Why is he flashing the lights? He's flashing the lights at what appears to be a back marker. Blue flags are waving. Who is it? It is Ben Goebel. He's saying, mate, I want to get to pit lane. I want some tyres with grooves. This is a shit show. Right, Mav stays out. Webley stays out.
I did wonder whether these two boys would stay out.
Go in, Hendo. Come on, Hendo.
Test
no, Hendo stays out. Who's going in?
Dawson stays out. Yeah.
Crossy sideways goes in. Does Matthew Clark follow him? Yes, he does. Fodado stays out. So does Dixon.
So Crossland, the first of the leaders there, J-Man, to even think about it. He is in the pits in the 43 SIMBLACKS Honda. This will be interesting. Oh, as we just see, that was Fodado run very deep, and now it's vulnerable to Dixon. They're going to run nearly side by side down to Arouche here, J-Man, in the wet.
Yeah, he didn't lift this time. So I'll be interested to see the lap time on a slick tyre here with this much rain, and whether this is a masterstroke from these front runners that have gone out. And we will find out, because Steve Crossland was the first to go as they trundled down a very, very long pit lane. So down in the boxes. We'll give you a read, viewers, on the
you can see
transit time and the stationary time.
You can see these guys sliding around. We have eyes on Shane Fodado at the moment, and the opposite lock on the car, trying to keep that car nice and straight on the exit. But yes, again, plenty of wheel work from Fodado to keep that OES McLaren in check, J-Man.
Yep.
Dixon not going anywhere. You can see the spray,
look at the spray
coming off the back of these cars already. So it's seriously wet track already, J-Man.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I'll be interested in the battle on pit road between Matthew Clark and Steve Crossland, because they came in very, very close together.
So it was Clark that came in as well, is it? Yeah, nice work. Turbot losing a position to Collins there in the background.
And now Nick Firth.
Flurry of pit stops at the moment as these guys scramble for wet tyres.
Now, Firthy came through the lane, however, didn't make a stop.
Okay, I wonder what's going on there, as we just see Fodado actually moving away from Dixon. Fodado really soaring at the wheel to keep that thing in check, but making a gain on the Aston. Maybe Dixon just thinking, oh, look, I'll just air on caution here. Oh, Fodado extremely wide out of the final left up the hill there. Will he come in for tyres? J-Man, can he stop that thing? He's going to go again, and so is Dixon.
Webley, Maverick.
Well, it's pretty well the whole...
Henderson, they've all gone again. They've all gone. I just can't help but think that this could come back. This could come back to the likes of Crossan, who managed to get out in front of Matt. Oh, Crossan in the fence, heavy on his own, relinquishes that position to Matthew Clark. Now, that'll be a very, very big Honda, because he went straight into the wall with some pace. If you want to catch a replay on that one.
We got replay on that, J-Man, and again, it's that Honda flick, J-Man. He grabbed the opposite lock as he jumped into the left-hander there, and it just tank slapped him straight into the wall. Is that rain going to clear, J-Man?
Yeah, look, it is supposed to ease inside the next minute, and inside the next 5 minutes, literally be gone to what is just cloud. But
wow,
is that the call? Is Webley, Maverick, and Co? Are they just going to lose some time here on a slick tyre and press on towards the halfway mark of this race? Grab another slick and absolutely just plough on through, because you would have called at the time that Crosslands and Co made the right call.
Yeah, definitely, but clearly just a big dump of rain, little rain cell just sweeping across the track here. Quite heavy rain at that. It really has soaked the track. You can see as we still have eyes on Crossland's car here. Very shiny track, a lot of water on the track, loads of spray. But with this rain potentially clearing, we would expect that to clear fairly quickly and, you know, start to generate a dry line with these guys on slick tyres.
I tell you what, that Mustang Webley's very, very good in all conditions because he's still out there on a slick. 234 won last round versus Maverick's 235, which sees that margin blew out from what was 2 seconds prior to the rain coming out to 5 seconds now. So
yeah,
the Mustang very, very well balanced. However, times wise for guys on a slick tyre, I'm about to get a read shortly. Just trying to get a read on somebody like Matthew Clark and see what he ends up completing a lap in, which will be one of his first flying laps on the wet tyre. Dayton in the pits. Oh, Dayton. That thing is proper bent.
Dayton
to
and
stop
Worcester.
for speeding for Matty Dayton as well, just to compound it. Oh, and he's escaped back.
Frodo Dixon up to 1, nose to tail.
Yeah, battle's still going on. Frodo very wide. Dixon's going to have a run here. So Dixie in the 997 Aston Martin down the inside. We've seen Frodo lift in this position before.
Look, we've seen these guys run down to this. Oh, he's got it this time. We've seen him run side by side. Dixon looks very awkward running down into the that early phase of Rouge there.
Yeah,
but gets it done.
With the stop go 30.
Still wriggling around as they run up the hill, up Camel. Wow.
Yeah, so that was Ken Worcester. Ken Worcester just clearing a stop go. Oh, sorry, he was in. I think he got a stop go and then come out with a stop go 30. So must have sped in the pit lane.
Yeah, I think he was in for a stop, and then he's picked up that stop go, Joe, man. So not ideal.
Less than ideal. So great pass there from Dixon just to keep the pressure on. Both see these guys out there still running on a slick tyre. Gunther still on a dry tyre. Jordan Moss still on a dry tyre. Hughesy dry. Collins dry. It's not until we get down to Matthew Clark that we see the wet tyre in action. 232 plays 243, 242. So he's 10 seconds a lap faster than the leaders right now. Overall time, he's around about 24 seconds off the leader this race. So potential for a double stopper out here tonight. Could that be a successful formula? Possibly.
Quite possibly, J-Man, as we just pick up on Spence Firth, and I think that is Crossy just in amongst that as well. Firthy just letting the boys sneak past there. Firthy not confident with that car in the rain, J-Man.
Both of them running through Rouge.
Both of them there at reasonably slow pace, so they may not even pick up an infringement for J-Man. It looks like the rain has stopped, but a very, very wet track still.
Yeah, shout out to Mark Turbot, obviously unpitted at this point in front of the likes of Clark and Co that have made a stop, but he is currently running P11 outright, so that's an AM driver up to P11 on merit, plus a little bit of stopping as well, so very, very good drive from Mark tonight.
Absolutely.
Who is that chasing down? Okay, so that's Mavericks obviously got round what I think would be it'd be Goddard, it'd be George Goddard. Yeah, so back lap marker there. Worcester back into the lane to clear that stop go 30. That's going to be a long 30 seconds to sit there, mate. Maverick, now why is Maverick 2.2 seconds behind Webley, and Webley's car is proper beat up in the front?
Oh, so no.
I'm not sure if we can grab a 30 on Webley, but something's gone amiss there.
We'll go back 60 and see if we can see. So clean car at 60 seconds a minute ago as he rounds T1 there, J-Man, in the replay. Rolls down the hill towards Eau Rouge with a very slick track immaculate Mustang at this stage. Oh, gets a bit of a wiggle there on the entry. Carts through slowly. Not looking comfortable in that car. Car still on. There it is. Gets a slip. Now I've seen a few cars there. Very wet patch of the road there. That little kink. And we've seen a few wriggle up through there. And now a fairly hefty damage on that Mustang. How quickly things can change. So Brandon Webley, leader of the race, now with a very busted crab Mustang.
So what happened to Maverick too? Because he got a lot closer, and then he was ahead of Goddard. Now Goddard's back through, and now he's hunting down Webley to try and unlap himself.
And the freaking sun's out, J-Man. What the hell?
Yeah, I tell you, I'm at a bit of a loss there. Matthew Clark gone to get off of this wet tyre. He doesn't want any part of that.
No,
can see the conditions ahead are favourable towards the dry track. So rather than stay out there too long, he's going to go and jump back on a slick tyre. So it won't be any fuel involved. It'll be just a quick tyre change.
Definitely, J-Man. Now, Hendo, really shown a really good clean set of heels in the race. He did mention he was up for a in-car interview if we wanted to drag him into the comms box just quietly. But
righto.
Well, righto.
Righto then. Okay. So we'll go and find him then. Where is Hendo? Right, we got him.
Hendo,
here he comes.
Hendo holding down a solid third position on what is now a drying track.
As he just gets super sideways through a rouge, so we probably upset him a little bit there. Probably should have grabbed him on the Camel Straight, but we've got you, Hendo, loud and clear, mate. Look, just a mixed bag of conditions out there, mate. You got your old mate Pete Dawson behind you. How's things going out there?
Yeah, not too bad, man. I'm trying to keep Pete behind me, but he's I think the lighter that Bentley gets, the faster he's going.
Look, I tell you what, the amount of times that thing's licking flames out the two side exit pipes, I'm sure that's drying that tyre off a little bit more than the average car, mate. So I think that's part of the success. But, hey, look, great start to the race. Managed to get out there and run P2 for a bit, put yourself between Maverick and Webley, and then obviously Mav got through, and you've been a solid third. Trying conditions out there, definitely the right call, Hendo, to stay out there on those slick tyres and those conditions.
Yeah, mate, I'm going to run it long, I think. I've got another 8 laps of fuel, so I was seeing on the weather forecast that the rain was only going to be 10 minutes and it was stopping, so may as well just put up with it and on the slicks, mate.
Good call, Hendo.
What's your thoughts, Hendo? Do you think, obviously, you know, we've effectively got another hour coming up after this next 8 minutes, which is effectively 6 hours in virtual time. Do you think the chance of seeing more rain before the end of this thing's a possibility?
I reckon it'll happen, mate. Yeah, definitely 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
Righto, we won't hold you up for too long, Hendo, because you've obviously got to think about tyre pressures and tyre changes shortly. So well done.
But we will give you the quick heads up. Webley has been into the wall in the last lap, and he has a very damaged Mustang at the moment.
He does.
Just running in front of you, so he might be in for some repairs, my friend. So good luck. Keep that thing pointing forwards, mate.
Yeah,
Cheers,
mate.
Fellas.
Yeah, spices forward, mate. Keep it spices forward.
I'll try. Thanks, fellas.
Right.
Well done, Hendo.
Nathan Henderson, everyone.
So what is the margin? 1.5 seconds out the front. So running on a wet tyre when the rain came, and he is actually still cycling around on a wet tyre. Currently, last lap time for Tony Spence was a 2:32. So that wet tyre is still holding up at the moment because the track, what's the classification on the track at the moment, Davo? It's damp. So that tyre's still working at the moment, but I would suspect it won't work for too much longer. So yeah, he's doing a great job, obviously, of the official pit stops to be cleared. And then you do have Mitchie Haas behind him. Now, Mitchie Haas, he's also out there on a wet tyre, so he'll have to think about changing that rubber at some point as well.
Yes, Louis, I agree. Turbot in P11, great drive from him so far. Both him and Hughes, a couple of Porsches out there. Not getting a lot of love, the Porsches in this series, but yeah, these guys are rocking them and doing a stellar job in the mid-pack. And eyes forward, yeah, didn't go back to the wets. There was only a handful of guys. It was only just the two, was it? Crossland and Matty Clark, was it?
Yeah, Matthew Clark, also Crossland, I think. Goddard's on a wet. Mitchie Haas is on a wet. Spencer's on a wet. I think that was it. We did see, I think, yeah, we've already seen Matthew Clark come in and go back to a dry.
Yeah, so now Clark, we just actually got eyes on Frodo with Clark's car just in front of him, out of position.
Mm-hmm.
Now both on a dry tyre. Well, you know, Frodo stayed on his dry tyre. We are winding down towards the halfway mark here, J-Man.
Mitchie Haas on Spence, doesn't get it done, switches back. There's a couple of blokes on wet tyres. 228 for Haas, 233 for Spence. Leaders are running 233s on a dry tyre out there at the moment, so that gap really shrunk. 1 second is the margin, so this is the closest we've seen it all race between Maverick and Webley, so that is crushed down big time.
Be interesting to see. Well, clearly that just visually we can see the damage on Webley's car. Surely it's slowing that Mustang to a certain extent. Does he clear, you know, like get the mechanics on the tools on that car and get some repairs done so that he can take it to Mav at the end of the race? Because he's looking vulnerable at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was his advantage, right? So
Yeah.
in the lap. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it depends. I think probably at some point, if you've got to stop for repairs and Mav doesn't, given how close the times were when they were battling, you'd have to argue if he does it. Is it actually a defence of somebody like Nathan Henderson, who's out there, got a super, super clean car, cycling in the same pace, actually, was actually the quickest car out of the top three at the last lap round on a 2:33. 3 was there, literally just cycled through minute 11. I don't know if we missed a drive through or something there for Firthy. I'm not sure.
Yeah, not sure there.
Mr. McConnell, whether you can tell us whether maybe Firthy copped a drive through or something as to why he went through the pit lane, but I didn't pick up on it.
As we just pick up on the leaders now, J-Man, Webley and Mav, like I said, that gap crushed right down to just a car length or so, and Mav really filling the mirrors of Webley's
He's having
Mustang.
a good look out of the source this time round.
It's getting serious, but again, you know, as they get out of a Rouge here, the legs of the Mustang will stretch.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what it's like now. How bad is the damage? What is the top speed? Like, obviously, they're not coming through a Rouge and Rattleon as quick as they would have been in the dry, but I saw 255 last that round. 255, 257. Yeah, so that actually 257 was Mav.
There you go, with draft under the back wing of the Mustang, pulling that number 3 Red Bull Honda along, J-Man.
Yeah, and hey, look, and Hendo's actually taken out a second out of the lead of those front two in the last lap. I mentioned that he was 7.3. I think it was a very similar spot. He was then 6.3, currently 6.3, 6.4 now. So Hendo's just working away nicely. Like I mentioned, Webley 32.9, Maverick 31.9, Hendo 31.1. So definitely a lot better consistent pace and fresh air has Hendo at the moment over Maverick and Webley.
Definitely, J-Man. You can see him just back a shot every now and then. So still well in touch with the two leaders here. And you can just see him there in back a shot. So only one corner back from these guys as they sort of seesaw in this little battle. I don't think Mav's giving, you know, sort of really threatening Webley at the moment, but he's just making sure he knows he's there, as we just see Webley very sideways off the corner at the bottom of the hill there as they run.
Again. Yeah.
Run up the hill.
still willing to just drop an outside tyre onto the curb or the grass, and that's just really risky in these conditions. So he's obviously prepared for the sidewaysness, and I couldn't imagine that this tyre set's going to go much longer than the 60-minute mark.
Very wide this time though, J-Man, through the left-hander.
Yeah, and look, that'll be naturally, that will go down probably as one of those track cuts because it didn't look like he lifted.
Oh, and Mav into the pits.
Okay, so as mentioned earlier,
we also have Huss and Goddard in the pits as well, ladies and gentlemen. So, look, that allow Webley just to breathe a sigh of relief and just be able to focus on his lap times here for another lap or two.
Yeah, so this is Mitchy Haas getting off the wet tyre.
Dawson as well, J-Man, in the pits.
Yep. And so Dixon in the lane as well relinquishes that 5th spot back to Shane Fodderdo. Pete Dawson, as you mentioned, in the lane. So that sees